See, the world as we experience it has a physical component to it, but more than that, as you know, there's energy component. And this energy component, this energy dimension of the world, if you will, is filled with spirits. And the majority of those spirits, actually, the earthbound spirits, the low vibrational spirits, the majority of those are mischievous. Okay. Mischievous means they don't have good intentions and they will influence people in a negative manner. So we all have moments throughout our day, as well as, throughout our life, where we may be confronted with a crisis or something like that. Yeah. And these are the moments when we are very susceptible to negative spiritual influences. This is exactly when we're specifically vulnerable. And those spirits will take advantage of that. Yeah. Now, as a magician, a sorcerer, this is my daily bread and butter. What I mean by that? I use those spirits on a daily basis to influence people and to influence events and surroundings around me. So I know exactly 100% what I'm talking about. And because I know exactly what I'm talking about, I know how vulnerable people are to the influence of those spirits. And that is why today I'm talking about the importance of staying in touch with spirit. Now, when I say staying in touch with spirit, what do I mean by that? It means that, Jesus, look at my arms. They're fucking making my shirt explode. Anyways, what I'm saying is basing your life on spirit means the following. It means that the entire context of your existence is clear in a sense where you are a spirit that has a temporary physical experience in a physical body. Now, this physical body has energetic components to it, and you live in an interface between the spirit world and the physical world. Yeah. So when you, on a daily basis, start your day connecting to your spirit guides, your spiritual protectors, you stay in touch with them, maybe your ancestors. These spirits and these energies begin to guide you, and they also begin to protect you, because what is protection in a spiritual way? If something protects you spiritually, it keeps you on a frequency of emotion and thought that brings about beneficial outcomes. You see, how does a negative spirit or an evil spirit, a mischievous spirit, affect you negatively? They attach themselves to your energy field and influence it, where they cause vibrations that get you in touch with emotions, thoughts, and outcomes that lead to negative outcomes, or lead to negative experiences for you, to the point where people do bad things, really, really bad things. A spirit is called up, or it doesn't even have to be called up, but let's say it is called up by a sorcerer and it is sent out. The spirit is essentially energy. You call the energy form of the spirit, you connect to it, you give it instructions, and all right. And before you sent the spirit out, you let the spirit get a taste of who you wanted to influence. Maybe you have a piece of hair from that person. Maybe you have nails from that person. Maybe you have a picture from that person. Maybe you have a picture from that person. Yeah. And when you have a picture, you have the energetic essence. You have the energetic essence of the person that the spirit uses to identify, like a dog that sniffs somebody's wearables, somebody's shirt. They now know exactly who to look for. So you give them a taste of who they're supposed to go after, and the spirit disappears here in this location, and instantaneously it attaches itself to the person that you directed it towards. And now the spirit is going to do the job that you told it to do. The job that the spirit is going to do what you wanted it to do for you. It's going to influence the person in whatever way you want it to. How is it going to influence the person? See, most of our actions are not self-determined. They're really not. If you think of it, if you observed yourself for the most part, you had thoughts coming up, ideas popping into your mind, and then you followed those. If you're a little bit self-aware, you will notice why, or you will notice that actually happening. But there's not really a reason why you did it. And that is exactly what we call the subconscious being in control over the conscious mind. These are impulses that we have little control over. Now, there are ways to reprogram your subconscious, of course, where where the automatic mechanism works towards your conscious and desired goals, right? But that's a different story. But it changes nothing. It doesn't change the fact that our subconscious is in charge, right? And the subconscious is what the spirit influences. It is what the spirit can work on for you. Now, if you have no protection spiritually and no connection to a spiritual force, you're very vulnerable and you're susceptible to influences. And like I said, the majority of the spirits in this earth realm that we live in, it's a very dense realm, are mischievous. They're negative. They're evil. They want to cause problems in your life. They want to cause problems in your surroundings, and they want more of this energy that is created by negativity. And so they do what they do. And they attach themselves all the time to different people. They jump from host to host and so on and so forth. And if you don't have a spiritual protection, you will be so susceptible to the influence of those spirits. And this is exactly the topic here. How do you build a spiritual connection? And how do you create a relationship with your spirit guide? Okay? A relationship with a spirit that is supposed to protect you and guide you. It's kind of like your foundation. And like I said, you're not a physical body, you're a spirit. You're a spiritual being that is having a spiritual experience. So you got to reconnect with your spiritual self and its true nature constantly. This is incredibly important. If not, you are very vulnerable and susceptible, and you're not on your path, and you will feel it. You will feel lost. You will feel confused. Essentially, the way most people feel in this life. So, what you now, as you have been initiated into this knowledge, you knowing that this is the case, what you need is a spiritual home or a spiritual energy that you connect to. Okay, like I said, like I mentioned earlier, it could be a spirit of your choice. However, I don't recommend that you use a spirit from a grimoire or something like that, because they have all their own agenda, and that is not an agenda that is necessarily going to work in your favor. Okay, um, maybe you a guardian angel or something like that. Okay, or guardian demon. Really up to you. Maybe you have your ancestors are very, very powerful spiritual forces. And yes, they can be contacted and they can be worked with just like any other spirit. Maybe you're part of a spiritual tradition. Maybe you're in Santeria. Maybe you're in Palo Bayombe. Maybe you're in Budan. Maybe you're Candomblé. Maybe you're in. There's so many. There's so many different Macumba. Maybe you do that, or maybe you're a Wiccan, or maybe you're even if you're Satanist or whatever. You get what I'm saying? So the point is, you must have a spiritual foundation, something that makes you solid, spiritually solid, so that you're not such a vulnerable being spiritually. Yeah. And next, you have to banish. You have to aim at making your aura stronger, make it tougher, make it harder to be influenced by the outside world. Not just the outside world. I'm not talking about people here. I'm talking about spirits. Make your willpower so strong that a spirit can try to influence you, but they will have a hard time doing it. They won't be able to influence you. This is important. These things are important. And believe it or not, your mundane results in life are very, very much correlated with that. When you look at a person with a strong aura, they're usually also very capable when it comes to mundane life. Why? Because you can't get them off course easily. They stay on course, even though there's outside influences that try to get them off course. You see, it's all energy. It's all energy. So your spiritual work is not just spiritual work. It is literally the work that you're supposed to do in this lifetime. You see, you're here as a mediator almost between the worlds. Right? An animal cannot do that. An animal is not that aware. We have greater awareness, and that makes us responsible. That makes us responsible to be the connection between the worlds and to use this power once it's developed and honed, to use this power in a beneficial way for ourselves, but also for others, right? And that is the key.